But right here, D Wade in the sit down reflects on his first season with LeBron in Miami. And let's not forget, he was the leader that season. The videos of the press conferences are out there. D Wade answered all the questions. LeBron was definitely the most talented, but him being in that villain role, he definitely was little brother, even shying away from the media in ways he never really did before. Even though Dwyane Wade was in his same draft class, the franchise that he went to was led by a person with real championship experience, aka Pat Riley. So there were definitely learning lessons that LeBron James had not yet experienced that D Wade was already made aware of before his arrival. Eventually, LeBron took that blueprint and returned back to Cleveland. Let's not forget that. D Wade right here gives great insight to how he even got to that level of just understanding leadership, especially being a young player alongside a lot of veteran players, guys like Gary Payton, Antoine Walker, and other former All-Stars. You guys check it out, and every once in a while, I'll check in.
I knew what it looks like when you have a star player who has to take a different seat. Not a back seat. You just got to take a different seat. And Shaq did it. I watched Shaq did it when he came in from LA. He immediately put himself in a different seat, and he didn't try to be the lead dog. But even in that, it was moments where he still wanted to be, give me the ball. And then I did remember the time when my team went to him and was like, hey, you got to be young fella. You got to be the one to take us. And I remember the conversation then Shaq had with me after that. And so think about it, I'm 24 years old, and I got Gary Payton, Hall of Famer, Shaquille O'Neal, Hall of Famer, Lonzo Mourning, Hall of Famer, Antoine Walker, Jason Williams, like all these guys looking at me like, all right, young fella, you the one. Like, let's go, do your thing, and we're gonna back you up. Like the freedom that they gave me, because what you do in that position is you overthink a lot, Zach. When you have guys that you know you need to get the ball to, you don't play your full game. You kind of be hesitant. And I was a little hesitant because I had so many guys that I respected as a young guy, and I wanted to make sure that they were all a part of it. And they looked at me like, stop respecting us so much. Go do it. Like, go be you. And it just unlocked it. And so I guess what I did when it came to LeBron and him and I conversation, I don't want to take all the credit. Obviously, he's one of the greatest to ever play. But I just want to unlock, his thought process, because I saw a little hesitation from him the year before. And we were really good. If you go back, I averaged 25 and a half. He averaged 26. Numbers were, kind of equal in a lot of areas. And we were really dynamic, like the best duo in the league. But we didn't get together to be the best duo in the league. We got together to be champions.
Now, right here, D Wade is explaining the mindset and just the experience that he had is exactly what LeBron was missing that first year he was in Miami. Sometimes the stat chasers get lost in just the analytics and just the numbers that LeBron has, but there are other key components when you're talking about being on a championship level. And that whole venture with LeBron James being in South Beach was really to get that blueprint.
Well, how do we unlock that? And this is how to unlock it. We have to let the best player in the game be the best player in the game, and he has to take all the thought out. And so I put myself in kind of a role that Shaq did or that GP and them did at that time to say, this is our best way. This is our best opportunity to win. It's this guy leading us. So let's get out the way. Let's talk our egos. And let's do what we got to do to make sure that this guy can lead us.
I've always wanted to ask you this. 2011 finals.
2011.
Sorry. But I'm the steward of basketball fans in this position. I have to ask you this. LeBron is clearly having some sort of mental meltdown. His mind is his confidence, whatever it is, something is wrong with LeBron. You see this. He's not aggressive. He's passing up shots. He's not driving. It's not LeBron. Yeah. We all know LeBron. That's not LeBron. Was there a conversation you had with him during the finals trying to get to the root of it? What's happening? We need you to snap out of it? Or did you just say, I can't get in, this is his thing to sort out? Or did you just think it'll sort itself out? How do you handle something like that in that moment?
Now, before D Wade answers, this scenario right here is what a lot of the backers of LeBron James, the Bleacher Reports, Turner Sports, Warner Brothers, Nike, the international production companies that are backing him. The narrative around the 2011 finals, they do not want you to remember that. Keep in mind, Jason Terry and JJ Barea averaged more points than LeBron in the finals. When you talk about all-time worst performances by a mega star in the finals, LeBron in 2011, that's one of the icings on the cake. Shit was bad. D-Wade himself finished that series averaging 28 points a game.
Well, in the moment, I mean, I think it's, and I've said it before, is I was on Bron. Like it's my job. That's our relationship is two of the best players in the game is to make sure that we're pulling it out of each other. And going into the Dallas series, I felt we had two mismatches. I felt that no one can guard me and no one can guard him. And so I'm like, it may be a better team overall, possibly, but we got the two best players. Even though Dirk is one of the greatest players ever, I thought in that series that we could have the two best players from a mismatch standpoint. And so when I didn't see him performing at the level that I know that I've watched this person perform at since I've seen him play on ESPN in high school, I was like, hey, wait, what's going on? You know what I mean? And I don't know if I approached it the right way at all, but I was on Brian. Like I'm just trying to get him to to get back in his game, to wake up. Because sometimes one thing can happen, whether it's in your personal life, whether it's in the game, and it can just knock your flow and your rhythm off. You know what I mean? And sometimes you need something to happen to go well for you. You need someone to say something. You need someone to believe in you, someone to get on your ass, whatever it is. And I tried the approach. We're best of friends. And so we spend a lot of time together. And so I wanted to get to the root of it because, bro, this is why we got together, to do this. And so he couldn't get out of it. I don't know, what it was. He struggled a little bit. And I go back and I look and I felt like in that series, I probably, because of the mismatch situation, I had the best series, and I had a chance to actually win Finals MVP and we won a championship. Like I had a really good series. And I look back into myself and I'm like, man, this is why he came here as a leader. It's your job to help lead him.
I don't want you to miss that right there. D-Wade said, had we won that finals, I would have been MVP. That right there would have hurt LeBron James's legacy a little bit when it comes to just the overall narrative of just saying, oh, he's the GOAT. Because had it played out with D-Wade winning MVP, it would be easier to point out that he joined a mega superstar team. Just that overall narrative would be really hard to debunk. Some people still to this day forget who the fuck D-Wade used to be. And sometimes certain media personalities, certain plants within the media, I should say, certain LeBron James plants in the media make it seem like D-Wade was over the hill, especially with some of the health issues he had in the last season with LeBron in Miami.
And I feel like I failed my leadership responsibilities in that. And so I don't know if I approached it the right way at all. I just know that, we didn't get the LeBron that we got the next 3 years at that time. And it was unfortunate for us because I didn't feel like nobody can guard him in that series.
Let's listen to that one more time. D-Wade talking about he failed his leadership responsibilities. Once again, that first year in Miami, Dwyane Wade was the leader. Pat Riley was the leader of the overall organization. See, Miami was the first place that LeBron ever played at, even coming from high school, where he didn't have all the power. Whatever Pat Riley said, it went. Udonis Haslem is on record being the enforcer of some of those rules, with LeBron James's friends trying to enter the locker room. The story about LeBron James and the cookies on the plane, or just wanting to stay in Cleveland an extra night, etc. Miami, unlike those previous places that he's been to, they do have a culture, and they're not going to bend their rules the same way the Lakers are doing right now. That's why Jeannie Buss is looking so frustrated with the way the media is painting LeBron as the Lakers' savior.
So when I didn't see him performing at the level that I know that I've watched this person perform at since I've seen him play on ESPN in high school, I was like, hey, wait, what's going on? You know what I mean? And I don't know if I approached it the right way at all, but I was on Brian. Like I'm just trying to get him to get back in his game, to wake up. And I look back into myself and I'm like, man, this is why he came here as a leader. It's your job to help lead him. And I feel like I failed my leadership responsibilities in that. And so I don't know if I approached him the right way at all. I just know that, we didn't get the LeBron that we got the next 3 years at that time. And it was unfortunate for us because I didn't feel like nobody can guard him in that series.
Did he engage with you when you had these conversations with him, or would he just try to sort of, like, I'm good?
Yeah, I mean, he's trying to figure it out too. You know what I'm saying? Like, you trying to snap back into it. You're trying to run plays. You're trying to, hey, I get a break. Let me look for you. Like, we know, like, sometime a dunk, a block, something can change, just your rhythm and your flow. And so, yeah, he was trying to figure it out, but you could never catch it and get back into that rhythm and that flow. And then, Dallas starts sensing it. They start switching up their defenses a lot. They start sending a lot of different guys at them to keep them all balanced, whether it was smaller guys like Jason Terry, you had Deshaun Stevenson, you had Sean Marion. Like, they had a lot of guys that they would send at them. And, and then on the other end, they got J.J. Barrera running him around. And so they did a great job of keeping him off balance. And we couldn't get him into a rhythm and a flow. And we all took that very hard going into the summer. Like, man, like, is it, we know a great player is, supposed to be great. And this is LeBron James, but also too, he came here so we can help him learn how to, win in these moments and be great in these moments. And did we fail him? And I think we all went into the summer like, what could we do better? The coaches and the players. And so, yeah, it was unfortunate. And I was on Brian. I was mad because I wanted us both to be like unstoppable together. And I wanted us to, put that middle finger up to all the haters together in that first year. And like I said, the basketball guys just wasn't on our side because they didn't want to see the ugly side of us. And, the performance that we needed from both of us was not there in that series.
Sometimes when players like D-Wade right here speak the truth on a mega profile player like LeBron James, someone the media is kind of holding up second to Michael Jordan or even on the same level, the truth can be a hard thing. And right here, he perfectly described LeBron James at that very moment. He didn't necessarily have the blueprint to just being that leader on a championship level team. Cleveland historically is not a winning franchise. That is something that has gone very underestimated in the storytelling around LeBron James. That's why he left. Pat Riley being the leader down there in Miami, he had championship experience even as a player because he wasn't as talented as guys like Jerry West, Baylor, Kareem, etc. That's where the whole body fat percentage thing comes from, just being extra disciplined so he can make the roster. So he understood on that championship level, there were certain things that have to be in place. Those are the keys that LeBron was missing. What it's like to be in that type of atmosphere, just having so many people in the building with that level of just championship experience. Again, Pat Riley in his time as a player in the 70s, also him being a head coach in the 80s during that whole championship run, the success he had with the Knicks in the early 90s, and of course the early run that he had with Shaq and D-Wade in 2006. LeBron James came into the building with that whole foundation already laid out. Now right here, we're going to see the whole purpose of this Rich Paul, Max Kellerman podcast with Netflix and Spotify, with Bill Simmons and The Ringer. That whole clusterfuck is really a setup for LeBron James and his backers to control the narratives with all these basketball mediums that are out there. This season so far, Rich Paul has had a response for every arrow that has come in LeBron James's direction. And D-Wade probably already knew he had a response coming. You guys check it out, and every once in a while, I'll check in.
Jalen writes, Rich, what do you believe was the biggest reason for the Heat losing in 2011 against Dallas? Some say roster construction around the big three. Some obviously just blame LeBron. Some blame Spo for not being the Spo we all know today. What are your thoughts?
So if you notice, they disguised the response in a quote-unquote fan asking a question, if that's even a real person. But D-Wade had made his initial comments with Zach Lowe, who is also part of that Bill Simmons Ringer podcast network. Ironic enough, on the very same day that episode dropped, Rich Paul's response came out at the same time. Of course, they're on the same network, so someone probably gave a heads up. Rich Paul also spoke about how he knew about Ethan Baxter's initial reporting about Jeannie Buss and the Lakers organization being frustrated with LeBron. He received that article 2 months prior before it was released. Again, a lot of these things are not coincidences, but the episodes with D-Wade's initial comments with Zach Lowe dropped the same day as Rich Paul right here disguises his response in a quote-unquote fan's answer.
That's a good question. I remember it vividly. I think it was just one of those things where, obviously, we all know who the media scapegoat was. That's clear. But no, I just think it was one of those things where that was the first season. They didn't get off to a great start that year. They were like 500 after, I think, like 33 games or 35 games, close to 500. Then they had a hell of a run.
Sure did.
And I think that, sometimes you kind of shoot your wad a little bit because the first round they rode, the second round they rode.
Dean wants me to pause you. I could hear him snickering.
No, man, like
I'm gonna have to pause you, Rich.
Okay, fine. But sometimes, you run out.
Yeah.
You just do. And I think they had great series, great series. And then they got to the finals and they actually had a game that they probably should have won.
I think LeBron has always had.
But I'm glad he didn't. I'm glad he did not.
Because it taught him going
No,
forward.
not even that. We had this conversation, and we went to the Bahamas afterwards. And myself, Dwyane, and LeBron were talking, and they were kind of going over things. And I said, at that time, I said, I'm so glad that you guys didn't win in that manner. I'm glad. Because I felt that villain role, that's not who you are.
And also, D Wade winning the Finals MVP and LeBron James' first championship is not good for his storyline, especially when he wants to be compared to, you already know, MJ.
That villain role, that's not who you are as a person. And if God allows you to win in that capacity and you carry that with you, that's going to spill over outside of basketball. And so this loss was preparing you for what's coming next.
And also it turns him into more, there's this humility involved, and it turns him into more of a sympathetic figure. In
without that loss, you don't get the 3-1 comeback.
Right.
Right? Because
Probably
now
true.
you're a different person. And so, yes, he should have played better, and he probably was capable of playing better. But I just feel like, man, when God prepares you for certain things, you don't know why, and you just have to go through it.
Hey, that was a great segue by Rich Paul when you start bringing God into the situation and all types of spiritual dynamics to avoid the fact that that was one of the worst meltdowns from a mega superstar in NBA Finals history. But it is what it is. The real GOAT of LeBron James is really how he's moved around off the court. Just the way he's leveraged being the figurehead of the league into business ventures where even his friends are now known as kind of sports moguls. Look at the way right here he sets up a proxy to kind of dodge a lot of the arrows that's coming from the media during his last season in LA. He's mastered this real well, even to the point where you have an owner in Jeannie Buss. She's frustrated in the way she's portrayed in the media versus LeBron. And she's coming from NBA royalty, especially being the owner of the most prestigious franchise in the whole league. I got to give my props to LeBron. Like, that's one hell of a chess move.